Hi guys, it's Elijah, aka Sibirek. So must say, your podcast is just unprecedented help for musicians. This is so cool. So thank you very much. So my question is simple, but I guess maybe it's an old question, but I didn't find it in this specific phrasing. So is there a certain regularity of releasing a single that can significantly increase the chance of being picked up by the Spotify algorithm and editorial team? If there is, which is it? For example, if I release a single every week, pitching to the editorial team and with this pitching tool, does it have a good chance, or it's almost no difference at all? So yeah, that's it. Every one single every week. I'm just curious, what does it give you? Thank you. Bye.
All right. I think he said his name was Elijah. That's what Google Translate put it as. But good question. So, first off, he asked about the algorithm. And when people talk about the algorithms on any platform, it's all speculation. So, I just want to make sure people understand that algorithms, like even people that work at companies, don't know how the algorithm works for certain things. It's usually a small group of people. And depending on how much AI they've incorporated into it, maybe nobody knows how it actually works. So a lot of it is just speculation based on observations when people talk about how the algorithm works. Just want to make that clear. But when I've been told about Spotify and the pitching tool is that it's only available to you 4 weeks after a release. That's what I've been told. So if you're releasing weekly, you won't get advantage of the pitching tool, which then allows you to pitch to editors. And so that's something to be aware of. So releasing every week, you want to have access to that tool. But on the other hand, what we have observed is that consistent releases, the system and the platform seems to give preference to artists that do have more consistent release habits, meaning that if you're releasing more consistently, people are pushing the play button more consistently. So that to them indicates engagement.
Yep, my thought on it is I've heard lots of strategies. Put stuff out every week, put stuff out every 6 to 8 weeks. Everyone's looking at this way of sort of gaming the system without, I think, paying attention to the most important thing, which is I don't know the ins and outs of Spotify's algorithms, but I can say fairly confidently that the most important thing is that quality engagement happen on anything you do put out. So even if you only release a song every 6 months, as long as the people who are showing up to hear that song in a pretty good proportion are saving it, are listening through the whole thing, are listening on repeat, are adding it to playlists, that is what matters to Spotify. That's what's going to help them push at least that particular song beyond your existing audience. So it's really as much as you can do to focus on quality engagement. I think that's the most important thing you can do. Instead of trying to get a bunch of random passive listening on third-party playlists that get you plays but might not be getting you in front of the exact right audience. So that's what I would say is the most important thing. Whether you're putting out music every year or every week, focus on, getting your fans to care and keep listening. And then beyond that, frequency is key, like Kevin said.
Yeah. You mentioned some actions that are more important to Spotify. So if a lot of artists get tempted to go buy a bunch of fake streams. I haven't seen as many ads for those kind of things. I'm sure there's still lots of them out there, but I haven't seen as many ads for those kind of services lately. So maybe Spotify's really inhibited their ability to get bots streaming your music. But a lot of people go after that. But what really Spotify's looking for is more of a strong ratio. So the number of people listening to your music compared to the number of people saving it to their music catalog, which is them pushing the heart button, or them following you on Spotify. So all these things play into that. And if you look at Spotify for artists, you will see that it gives you like how many people actually saved the track. So that's something, and it may have a percentage. I think in some instances there's a percentage next to that. been a minute since I've dug in there. So that's something that's important to them. So focusing on activity that we know Spotify thinks is important. People who listen, following your profile, people who listen, saving the track. So it's not just about getting random plays. There's a mix. And that's what, like I said, we don't know what the exact algorithm is, but we know these things play a part. They talk openly about that. They just won't tell you exactly how it influences it.
Well, and this might be completely obvious from this conversation so far, but to spell it out, if you're chasing vanity metrics like just getting stream count on a particular song, you might be doing all the wrong things to drive up that stream count and teaching Spotify that no one actually likes your song. Like if you get 10,000 people to hear it this week, but none of them saved it, none of them listened again, all you're doing is telling Spotify that no one likes your music, so they're less inclined to share future releases, at least out of the gates. So, word of warning.
Yes. So I hope that helps. And, you can look in your Spotify for Artist account and get some of that data. And, the last thing I would say, because he asked about the algorithm, if you are using the pitching tool, make sure you are using it properly. It asks for descriptions for your music. Don't tell them what you think they want to know. That doesn't help. Tell them what it really is and come up with a good description. Like it'll ask, I forget how it positions it because it's been since our last release in September that I've used the pitching tool. Actually, we did a Christmas single. What am I thinking? I used it then. But it'll ask you to describe the song, but I think it also is wanting like how they present it is more just like any noteworthy thing that you are doing as an artist. Take time to be thoughtful about it. Don't write an essay. It does limit how much you can say, but give them some hooks there. Some hooks about who you are as an artist, about the music, about any accomplishments, just so they understand, again, this is one of those things that if an editor sees it, they're having to make some judgments that oftentimes album art, these descriptions play a big role in it, as much as some of you listening hate to admit it or hate to hear it and insist that only the music matters and you shouldn't have to describe your music. Well, it helps. So make sure you're thoughtfully putting that together. So that's something that I know a lot of artists just skip over.